Darren, has the meeting started it? I cannot hear anything.
Hi, good evening. We're just running a few minutes late. We've got some technical issues trying to get a few extra participants and PAC members logged in. Bear with us, please.
Thank you.
Okay, good evening, everybody. I'd like to welcome you to the Planning Advisory Committee meeting for January 11th, 2022. As this is the first meeting of the year, as the PAC Secretary Violet Brown, I will be starting the meeting and calling for nominations for chair. And once the chair has been nominated and voted in, they will take over and do nominations for vice chair. So with that being said, do we have anybody who'd like to nominate one of our PAC members for the position of chairperson for the year 2022?
Mark here. I would like to nominate Darren Lamont as chairman of the PAC meeting.
Thank you. Can I have a seconder for that?
I'll second it. It's Kendall.
Are there any other nominations for the chairperson for 2022? Third and final time, is there any other nominations for a chairperson for the year 2022? Okay. All those in favor of Darren Lamont being the chairperson for 2022, please say aye.
Aye, Mark.
Aye, Kendall.
Aye, Darren.
Motion passed. I will now ask that Darren Lamont take over the meeting and ask for nominations for vice chair. Thank you.
Thank you, Violet. With that being, can we have some nominations on the floor for vice chair? Brenda?
I would nominate Darren Bishop.
Can I have a seconder for that?
Second, Mark.
Okay, with that being, is there any other nominations for vice chair? Third and final time, any nominations for vice chair? None being, can we vote on that?
Aye, Kendall.
I, Brenda.
Aye, Mark.
With that being, motion passed. Congratulations, Mr. Bishop, on being vice chair for 2022.
Thank you very much.
With that being, we'll move on to item 2, the approval of agenda. Can I have a motion to approve, please? Brenda?
So moved, Darren.
Seconder on that?
I'll second that.
It's Brenda. Can we have a vote for that?
Aye, Mark.
Can you guys
Aye, Darren.
vote online if you can?
Aye, Darren. I can't vote online.
Thanks,
Same
Darren.
with me, Mark.
All right, motion's carried by a vote of 5-0. We'll
Darren
move
and
on
Mark,
to
if you log out and log back into eScribe, you should reset yourself and you should be okay. Right.
Yeah, we can capture the votes verbally too also. Item 3, disclosures of interest. None being, we'll move on to item 4, approval of previous minutes. Any adjustments to the minutes? None being, can I have a motion to approve? Brenda?
So moved.
Can I have a seconder on that, please?
I'll second it. It's Kendall.
Thanks, Kendall. Can we have a vote, please?
Approve, Mark.
Darren, aye.
Motion carried by a vote of 5-0. Move on to item 5, business arising from previous minutes. Can I have a motion to receive and file?
Brent, so moved.
Brent, thank you. Can I have a seconder on that?
Second, Mark.
Thanks, Mark. Can we vote on that?
Aye, Darren.
Aye, Mark.
Motion carried by 5-0. Unfinished business, none being, we'll move on to new business, 7A. Item 7A, an application seeking approval for an oversized detached garage located in the front line of a main dwelling unit at 57 Stock Farm Road, PID 300-19673. Before the applicant introduces themselves, Jennifer, can you introduce the topic?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Yes, this is an application for an oversized garage located at 57 Stock Farm Road. It's also abutting onto a water course, so we will have to review it under that as well. That's section 6BB and 6I1 of the zoning bylaw. Any construction on waterfront does need the review of Planning Advisory Committee. The lot is located in a rural zone on a lot that has a size of 3,874 square meters. Where it does contain less than 5,000 square meters, it does go under the provisions of section 8G and 8I in the zoning bylaw. The proposal is to construct a 2-bay garage, and it will have a gross floor area of 67 square meters, whereas the bylaw allows for 63 square meters. The lot does abut Palmer Brook, as I have already said, and the topography of the land is such that the development of the garage behind the front line of the main dwelling was cost prohibitive, and therefore they are requesting that PAC allow them to construct the building ahead of the main building. Thank you.
Thank you for that. Chrissy, can you release the applicant? Can the applicant please state their name for the record?
Yes. Hi. First off, I'd like to say thank you for having me. My name's Alan Powell.
Alan, you would have received the same package we did in the mail. Is there anything you'd like to add or discuss prior to members of PAC or the public asking you a few questions?
No, I think it was pretty straightforward. Thank you.
All right. With that being, is there any members of PAC have any questions for the applicant? Due to how we're set up today, I'll go down the line and I'll ask Brenda if she has any questions first. None for Brenda. Mark?
None.
Darren Bishop?
None.
Kendall?
No questions.
Brent?
None.
Thank you. Is there anyone online who's wishing to speak for or against this item? Is there anyone online willing to speak for or against this item? Third and final time, is there anyone online willing to speak for or against this item? None being, would a member of a PAC like to put a motion for or against with terms and conditions, please?
Mr. Chairman, Mark here.
Yeah, go ahead, Mark.
Okay, put a motion forward to approve the waterfront development for a 4 square meter variance to section AG1C of the town zoning bylaw 038 and a variance to section AG1BI of the same bylaw to permit the construction of a 67 square meter detached garage to be located in front of the front line of the main dwelling unit located at 57 Stuck Farm Road, PID number 300196773, subject to the following terms and conditions. 1, the property are clearly delineated in advance of any construction and setback are verified. 2, a site drainage plan showing how the drainage is to be directed must be approved and filed with the town prior to the issuance of a building permit. Number 3, the exterior finish of the garage is to be a cladding recognized by the National Building Code of Canada, current adopted edition. Number 4, the garage is not to be used for business, for the keeping of animals or other household pets, or as a dwelling unit. And number 5, construction does not begin prior to the issuance of a building permit.
Thank you, Mark. Can I have a seconder on that, please?
I'll second it. It's Kendall.
Thank you, Kendall. Is there any debate on that motion? None being, can we have a vote? Oh, sorry. Dwight, go ahead, Dwight, sorry.
Just through you, Mr. Chairman, just a quick little note that I just noticed in the staff report, the lot about the Hammond River. It was just noted in the staff report, it's Palmer Brook. just so it's clear, just so that correction can be noted. That's all. Thank you.
Yeah, okay, thank you, Dwight. Sorry about that.
Just for the record. No, just for the record.
Yeah. With being no debate, can we have a vote on that motion, please?
Darren, I.
Kendall, I.
Mark, aye.
Brenda,
The motion's been carried by a vote of 5-0. In 5 to 7 business days, you'll have a letter in the mail, Mr. Powell, so please work with the town to have all necessary documentation signed and in place, and best of luck.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that.
You're welcome. We'll move on to item 7B. For item 7B, I believe the applicant's currently not on, so we'll jump ahead to item 7C, 184 Hampton Road, and we'll defer item 23 Autumn Avenue to the end. Is that okay with the PAC members? Thank you.
Yes, Mark.
Yes, Darren.
Yes, Kendall.
Okay, we'll move on to item 7C. An application for a takeout restaurant at Unit 109, 184 Hampton Road, PID 002499797. Before the applicant introduces himself, Jennifer, can you? Applicant's not there either for that one? It's all right.
The first one was calling in. She was calling in by phone call. She didn't have a computer. The other gentleman is in Quebec. He was.
Sorry, folks. With that, we just noticed that on the online, there's no one online for item 7B, 7C, or 7D. So we'd like to have a motion to defer those to the next meeting, potentially.
It's Darren. I'll make that motion.
I'll second. Mark.
Okay. Yeah, hang on one second there. Go ahead.
Dwight, I'm just wondering about the last item, 355 Hampton Road. If PAC doesn't have a decision within 30 days, council will assume that we have voted for the application. I'm not sure why the applicant is not on. He did call to confirm the date just this morning, I believe it was. So he was going to get his admin support to assist him in getting online for this meeting. But we do have to have some type of motion or some type of decision for council.
Through you, Mr. Chair, perhaps PAC, where it is a request from council to put forward their written comments in the application, perhaps PAC could move forward with a review of it to determine if there are actually any questions that would require the response from the applicant. If through their consideration, they feel that there are no questions that require additional information, then they may be able to generate the comments that would support council or be provided to council to carry the process forward. That would be my recommendation at this stage. And if through the process, then it's identified there are some questions or things that need to be addressed, perhaps you could look at deferring it, or the other option is maybe a special meeting of PAC prior to the deadline.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, Mark here. That's a good suggestion here. Could we ask the council to give us an extension of the 30 days so we could have a discussion with the applicants at the next meeting?
Dwight, is that an option? I feel that myself as chairman, we need the applicant here because there seems to be some issues of, you know, when this thing was built, why it was built, and
that's the reason why I'm asking if it's possible to get an extension from the town.
Dwight?
Through you, Mr. Chair, part of that process is the public hearing has already been established. It could be a request back to the town clerk that would be brought forward to council, that they could do the public hearing process, then wait for the comments from the PAC before giving final decision, not a final decision, but obviously, well, yeah, in this case, it's development agreement amendment, before rendering their decision. So it may simply delay a final decision by one meeting of council if they so wish to support that request.
Yes,
So it's not so much that PAC's comments have to be available at the public hearing stage, as long as the PAC's written views or written comments are provided prior to the council making a decision.
Okay, so the issue surrounding this is that the public meeting's already set, so.
That's correct.
Yeah, I think that works for me, and I don't know about any other members of PAC. I'm okay having the public hearing, and as long as we get the comment and make our written concerns back to council at that later time. Does that work for other PAC members?
Through you, Mr. Chair, another option is that you could make that request, which could go to the town clerk, and then subsequent, if for some other technicality that I'm not aware of at the moment, comes back and says that it's required prior to the public hearing, then the other option is that we may need to bring forward a special meeting of PAC just to address that issue prior to the public hearing date. So the motion.
When's the public hearing, Dwight, again? I forget. Public hearing's 20th?
The next council meeting is January 8th.
Next Tuesday, yeah, okay. 18th.
Mr. Chairman, through you, Dwight, is there any risk here that the town clerk may, for whatever the reason, say, no, the public meeting is scheduled and you guys should have made a decision at the PAC meeting? Since you had made a decision, we assume that you approve the recommendation and that's what we're going to go with? Like, is there a risk here? I guess that's what I'm asking.
The key item is that as long, to me, it would be as long as the item was on the agenda, PAC was prepared to discuss the item. However, the applicant wasn't in attendance. PAC felt that the applicant needed to be in attendance because there was some possible questions that the applicant needed to address. That would allow at least the idea, or that, you know, that PAC would like an extension prior to giving their written comments, which would have to be prior to the next council, because the Community Planning Act says that you must have a public hearing. So that's one component of it. The second component is that you must have the written comments or written views of the PAC. So the comments.
The act doesn't state
Have
which,
to be, right, doesn't necessarily have to be part of the public hearing process. The public hearing process is separate from the written comments of PAC. So they could carry on with the public hearing process, gather that information, and then if it's supported that, you know, the written comments of PAC have been delayed, then they could make their next decision or final decision at the subsequent meeting of council.
Mr. Chairman, through you again, Mark, I'm sorry about asking so many questions here. Is this the second time that the applicant doesn't show up for the meeting? Am I correct to say that?
yes, you are correct, Mark.
So, okay. I would recommend that we ask for an extension if it's possible and at no risk of a decision being made without PAC having a chance to interview the applicant or to discuss the application with the applicant, I should say. Sorry.
Yeah, and with that, Mark, are you okay if the public hearing happens before that? Is that okay? Or no?
I have no reason to say I'm not okay, so I think I'm okay unless
Yeah.
I'm missing something here, but
Yeah, no, I am too. I just as long as we as PAC need to make some talk to the applicant and understand the wording and the issues surrounding his application. So, okay. Anyone have a seconder on Mark's motion that we allow the public hearing to occur and defer the item to the next PAC meeting or have a special meeting when the applicant can come? Do we have to have a special meeting, Dwight, or we can just let it fall in place now after the public hearing?
I think that was something we would refer with that, Violet, the secretary would follow up PAC members subsequent to discussions with the member. As I said, if there's some item that I'm overlooking at this stage, I don't have the Canadian Planning Act and stuff directly in front of me, but just going off previous processes and the actual wording. The actual wording is that you need public hearing and comments of PAC, but they're not having to be at the same time, to my knowledge. But again, we would PAC secretary would follow up with PAC members to make them aware, and if a special meeting is required, then obviously that would be a decision of PAC members through PAC secretary.
Okay, so
Yeah, the key item is that the public do have an opportunity to express their concerns, and that is through council and the public hearing process. So,
yeah, so I think I don't want to, I believe the motions on the table is that we're going to defer item B, C, and D. So in saying that, I think we can still do that. That motion's still valid, and the public hearing can go ahead for item D. And Violet's just to find out to ensure that we can defer D without having our comments prior to the public hearing. Does that make sense?
Mr. Chairman, I believe it does make sense as long as we've got confirmation from the town clerk that that process can be established. Yeah.
Yeah, and if it can't, we can maybe have a special meeting from.
That's correct. Yeah.
Okay. Can we have that's the motion on the table. Can we have a seconder on that?
Darren, I'll second that.
All right, thank you. Any further debate? If not, can we have a vote on that, please? I'll just reiterate that we're deferring items A or B, C, and D. And item D, the town's going to determine if we're allowed to have the PAC comments after the public hearing. If not, we'll in turn have a special meeting of PAC.
Chairman Spread, I vote yes.
Who voted? Sorry.
Brent, I voted yes.
Okay.
Hi, Mark.
Aye, Darren.
Sorry, that was I, Kendall.
Okay. That motion's carried by a vote of 5-0. And so those items are deferred till next meeting. Item 8, information items and discussions, none being. We'll move on to item 9. Can I have a motion to adjourn, please?
It's Darren, so moved.
Can I have a seconder on that? Brenda.
I'll second that.
All right. Thank you. Meeting has been closed. Meeting's complete. And so with a little bit of technicalities, hopefully next time everyone will be able to get that WebEx up and running, and we'll go from there. And Mark, send some sunshine up our way, will you, buddy?
Listen, yeah, it was a little bit overcast today, but it wasn't a bad day. It wasn't -20, so it's pretty good.
No, I know. Yeah. Thank you, everyone.